Pat Cosgrave in the saddle.
Early in the Caulfield Cup, he defied them all. It was a great win, given he had top weight as well. That's 3 straight Group 1 wins now. Look, he's never been to 3,200, and he stays at the top end of the weights. And the top he hasn't won for a number of years since Mackay Diva, but the soft track helps. I think he's in the game.
Another great trainer who's yet to win this great race is Aidan O'Brien. He's got the Cliffs of Moher with Ryan Moore in the saddle. The first runner was Yates all those years ago. Third of the Caulfield Cup, this horse.
Did lay in that Caulfield Cup, and you have to question, was he super genuine? Looking back at the sectionals, it was probably a bridge too far for him to run over them. I mean, mathematically, he kept closing. He's beaten Yucatan at home. He's unproven 3,200.
Jane, how's he look?
Okay, he's a horse that does get a little bit warm in the yard, but he is improving with every run.
Magic Circle is horse number 3, Ian Williams, Corey Brown from barrier 17. 5 wins at 3,200 or more in the past 3 years.
Look, he arrives here off 2 big 6-length wins. He thrashed Red Verdon, who then ran so well in a Caulfield Cup without luck. He thrashed the Prince of Arran by 9. That horse then won the Lexus, of course, and chased the favourite Yucatan here. He thrashed Weekender. That horse then sat wide and ran well behind Muntaha. He's so strong at the end of his races, and the jar out of the track's only a plus.
The Japanese horse, Chestnut Coat, Yoshida Yahagi, Yuga Kawada in the saddle. Good barrier. 13th of the Caulfield Cup. Not the form to lead up to inspire so much confidence.
No, look, it wasn't a great run. Maybe it was the soft track, and again, that may be problematic here. This horse has run so well in a Group 1 10-0 show at home at 3,200 metres after covering ground, and Group 2 competitive at home.
Horse number 5 is Muntaha. It's going to be interesting to get to Jane's assessment. John Gosden, Jim Crowley won the E-Ball running away.
Had 61 kilos in the E-Ball. He travelled up sweetly. He thrashed Weekender, which clearly ties in with Magic Circle as a reference. No issues at all, 3,200 him. He was outsped at 2,400 when he was beaten by the Caulfield Cup winner Best Solution prior to that.
He's a really impressive type, this horse. He's got size, he's got length. There was some chat that there was a chance he could get a little bit goey in the yard, he could be a little bit hot. He wears the pre-race earmuffs, but at this point in time, he's handling this occasion with a bomb. He's doing everything right.
Sound check is horse number 6, Jordan Childs Rise. Mike Barodi won the Melbourne Cup with Brew in 2000. 12th in the Caulfield Cup. He's got Group 1 form behind Best Solution.
Yeah, had no hope back there in that Caulfield Cup given the tempo. Others ran on better though, needs to be said. He won second up last prep, beating Nelly Court. He's won 4 of 8. And then, as you referenced, chased Best Solution with his 60 kilos. So that ties him in.
Chris Waller has had 14 cup runners. He's never won, but this guy's been the best finisher. Who shot the barman, the 10-year-old, in his 4th Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, what an amazing old veteran he is. Another solid effort last time in track record time at the Valley. Of course, he won that race leading into last year's Cup where he ran so well, pretty much against the pattern of the day. He's a live top 10 hope.
Number 8, Ace High, the VRC Derby winner from last year. David Payne, Ty England, $130,000 Magic Millions graduate.
Led, quickly beaten in the Caulfield Cup. Maybe it was the soft ground, so again, that's problematic here. 6 times this horse has been on affected ground and yet to place in any of them. Almost won 2 derbies as a 3-year-old.
Horse number 9 is Marmello, Hughie Morrison, Hugh Bowman, and I've taken a different path. I've missed the Caulfield Cup this year. How do you see his chances?
Yeah, I think he's a live hope. He was terrific against the pattern of last year's Caulfield Cup and then ridden right on speed in this race last year. He faded late. Stable reported he didn't really back up. He's won at 3,000 at home, so I don't think the trip's an issue. I think they'll ride him a little bit colder with cover here. I like that they're going into this race fresh. He's beaten Weekender 3 runs ago, so that ties in with Magic Circle and Co.
He's a nice, strong, athletic type, but he's certainly thickened up in front in the 12 months since I last saw him. He's a better version of himself this time round. Very settled in his parade 12 months ago, and he is again today, ticking a lot of boxes.
Well, James Cummings is attempting to become the 3rd generation Cummings to win this great race. He saddles up number 10 of Villiers, Glenn Schofield, and 4 consecutive wins before bumping into Winks in the Cox Plate.
He was just even in the Cox Plate, wasn't he? I was hoping he'd hit the line a little bit better, but he wasn't bad. And of course, we know Winks is the superstar, and he was back in trip. His Bart Cummings win had a lot of merit. He had 58.5, and he still beat them. Of course, Jemay was then well beaten by Prince of Arran and Co.
He's had the preparatory work under his belt. He looks like a fit horse in the yard. I think he looks outstanding in the coat. He does everything with such effortless and calm. Hopefully that'll go a long way in helping him to see out the 3,200 metres here.
The equal favourite is number 11, Yucatan, Aidan O'Brien, James McDonald, and that exceptional win in the Herbert Howe stands out.
Just phenomenal, wasn't it? You can watch a lot of races and never see that. Worked wide, raced away, one eased up, and thrashed the Lexus Quinella, Prince of Arran and Brimham Rocks. No reason to doubt him at the trip. He's yet to race beyond 24.19. Clear winning hope.
He's a lovely athletic, lengthy type, but he's the right sort of fit for this kind of race. He got a little bit warm in the yard at Caulfield first up, but he's actually a little bit worse today. Yeah, you can see the sweat dripping down between his back legs. This can be typical of the progeny of Galileo, so he doesn't seem to be too stressed. He's just having a bit of a sweat today, which we didn't see last start.
Number 12 is Ovray. Richard Freeman, Tommy Barrier, inside barrier. Group 2 winner in France. He's been a consistent horse in Australia.
Look, I thought he was really good in the Metrop, given they crawled the early half of that race. And using Brimham Rocks as a reference, that's the horse that just challenged Prince of Arran, who many are tipping. His last run, he had excuses. He's a top 10 hope.
Number 13, Finch, the Frankel horse for Chris Waller and Zach Curtin. He ran pretty strongly in the Geelong Cup.
Yeah, he ran on well. I don't think he handled the turn all that well, but still hit the line. The track was mostly on pace dominated. He won well prior to that, beating Tiberian, who ran 7th in this race last year, and he boasts a third to Cracksman and Avilius.
What do you make of Red Cardinal, number 14 for Darren Weir, who won this race in 2015 with Prince of Penzance? 11th in the Melbourne Cup last year, but he was trained by Andreas Voller then.
Yeah, that's right. Beaten 11 lengths, so it was a long way off them. In fairness, that track was playing a bit funny last year, wasn't it? Look, he did place in the St Ledger a couple of runs ago. He loomed up to win it, didn't quite finish off, and then put in an average run at the Valley. So I've got others ahead.
Number 15, Vonga Mask, or Vonga Maske, as he's now known. Mike Moroney, Patrick Maloney, his first Melbourne Cup ride, and the Queen Elizabeth Stakes winner last year.
Well, he was shuffled back in that Caulfield Cup, and he still hit the line. I thought the run was good. He finished near subsequent Group 2 Moonee Valley Cup winner Ventura Storm, and that horse broke that track record. Ran okay in the Bart Cummings to Avilius, so perhaps not the worst.
Good segue to Ventura Storm. Lindsay Park, Mark Zara, a very solid Moonee Valley Cup winner.
Yeah, good closing fractions off a slow speed Caulfield Cup, and then went to the Moonee Valley Cup, mapped beautifully, heavily backed, and broke the track record. Just has to run the 3200 out.
Youngest trainer of the field is Charlie Fellows at 32. He's got a Prince of Arran, the Lexus winner, Michael Walker on board.
They weren't rapt about the rain we had, but the improving track helps. Strong Lexus win on Saturday. Chased hard prior, was right on the heels of an ease down Yucatan. Meets him 2.5 kilos better. Look, he was thrashed by Magic Circle at home, but he meets that horse now 5.5 kilos better.
He's a strong, balanced individual, and he's in great shape. He's pretty happy to be back in the mounting yard today with such a short back up. He was a little bit on his toes at Flemington. I think the edge is off him a little bit today, but he's having much more of a sweat.
Number 18 is Nikita, Ian Jardine and Regan Bayliss. He was 5th in last year's Melbourne Cup, but he's not going as well this year.
And that's the query. Look, I can certainly forgive the Moonee Valley run, given he was a long way back and it was the wrong day for it. He's run a couple of runs ago to Muntaha is probably one you can use. He was beaten 7 lengths by that horse in the E-Ball, so others ahead.
Number 19, Sir Charles Road, Lance O'Sullivan, Andrew Scott, Dwayne Dunbarry at 14, 3rd in the Bendigo Cup, so he's got a strong 2-mile form through the Sydney Cup.
Yeah, I think he stays well. I think that Who Shot the Barman sort of formed through that Sydney Cup. His second level form though, and he couldn't get by Red Alto last time, which would be a problem here, I think.
The same type of form for number 20, Zacata, Murray Baker, Andrew Forsman, Damien Lane, the outside barrier.
I thought he was really good in that Sydney Cup, but is that the right form? It's probably not. He was never likely at Geelong in the Cup there, but again, it was a better day to be near the speed.
Gay Waterhouse won this race in 2013 with Fiorente. She teams up with Adrian Bott with Runaway, number 21, who was a solid winner of the Geelong Cup.
Yep, your likely leader here. Led kept running and well rated to win the Geelong Cup and beat one Northwest Passage who just chased home Avilius, so that ties in. 3rd placed Finch's course is here, and boasts a 3rd to Cracksman, a world-class horse.
And the only mare in the field is horse number 22, young star Chris Waller, Craig Williams, barrier 8. She was a very good winner of the Queensland Oaks and has had excellent form this spring.
Yeah, I think she's really promising. Looking forward to her next season. Look, for today, I think she's in the game. She was way back, slowly run Caulfield Cup. She rattled late, fastest last 200 of the event. Made Winks work to beat her prior to that, and beat the Moonee Valley Cup winner Ventura Storm. It's just a question of whether she's seasoned enough against all these internationals. She's in my plays though.
She holds her weight so nicely in between races. She's got the constitution to handle what it takes to get a horse to a race like this. She can handle the work. She's so lovely and relaxed on race day, and she takes that into her race with her. Look, the way she's paraded today with the dapples out across her hind quarter, I give her a huge push.
A 3-year-old by Northern Hemisphere standards as cross-counted, so the same profile as rekindling last year's winner, Charlie Appleby, Kara McAvoy.
Lightly raced, potential star with 51 here. Beat a horse called Kew Gardens last start. He then won the Group 1 St Ledger. He acts like he'll stay, no worries. Look, small setback landing here is not ideal. Still fancy he can win, third pick.
Looking at him just on type, he's a really nice individual. He's got a good shoulder on him. He's a really lovely cut of a horse. Word from the stable is he is a horse that can misbehave a little bit from time to time, get a little bit worked up. And although he's been quite composed wandering around the yard, you can see the sweat just dripping off of him. Haven't seen him before, don't know if that's typical, but there is a query around the way that he parades.
The last of 24 runners, Rostropovich, Aidan O'Brien, Wayne Lorden, an outside barrier, and came through that Cox plate.
Yeah, he shared the speed there, was duelling for the lead. I don't think it was ideal. I thought he held on fairly. I think it was forgivable. Plummets in weight here, of course, away from weight for age, and gets out to a staying trip. I think he'll be ridden more conservatively today. I like the Saxon Warrior form at home, and Old Persian ties him in through cross-counter.
There it is, the field of 24 for the Lexus Melbourne Cup, your top 4 gator.
Look, I'm with Magic Circle and Yucatan, the main two. I think Magic Circle just being so strong at the end of 3,200, whereas Yucatan's unproven at the trip, just swayed me ever so slightly. But they're the two I want to bag and play them in trifectas. Cross Counter and Muntar tied, or round out my top 4.
And the Racing.com team, Shane, Ben and Matt, all with Yucatan, the joint favourite. Brent Zarafa with Cross Counter, horse 23. Jane, your McCafe pick of the yard for the 2018 Lexus Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, not an easy race to assess, but there are a number of runners that got really warm in the mounting yard. I've decided to steer clear of them. I've gone with Marmello on top. Physically, he looks much stronger 12 months down the track, and he's still got that lovely relaxed demeanour we saw here. Different approach coming into the race this year. I think it might have worked for the team because he looked outstanding. The 9 on top, Marmello, just ahead of Avilius, who I've been a huge fan of right the way through. He's got the calmness that can hopefully help him see out the 3,200 metres. Young Star has got the right constitution for this race, and Magic Circle, he didn't disappoint me on looks either.
So at the second attempt, it is Jane Ivel's pick of the yard, Marmello. Second crack at a Lexus Melbourne Cup. Let's get to the Bet365 market update for the Melbourne Cup, and Yucatan is the favourite now at $6, so tightened in from $6.50. The outright favourite ahead of Magic Circle at $6.50. Cross Counter, heart of the market at $10. Marmello at $13.
I'm going to tell you what to do anymore. I think he wants to slot in midfield, maybe better than midfield, and just get him into a rhythm. But it's down to him.
Are you nervous or excited, or both?
I wasn't nervous at all earlier because I thought our chance had gone, but I'm pretty nervous now.
Good luck, Charlie.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
There's Charlie Fellows with the Prince of Arran. We'll try and catch up with some other leading trainers here. Mike Moroney's won a Melbourne Cup previously. He's got 2 runners in the race, Mike. You know what it takes to win a Melbourne Cup. How are you feeling just minutes out?
Yeah, look, as relaxed as what you can be. It's a bit of a warm day, so... but look, we've done our bit. It's now to the horses now, and a bit of luck and running.
Let's start with sound check. Has he improved from his first up run?
I think he has. He looked a bit more relaxed here. We had a little tinker with gear, and I've just had that extra 2 weeks to get to know him a bit better. And look, we think what we've done with him is spot on, but we'll know shortly. But look, he gets 2 miles, and I think this little bit of range probably brings him into it, and it probably might lessen the other bloke's chances a bit. You know, I don't think he really wants to only just get his toe in, and I think it's just a bit worse than that.
Your other runner, Venga Basquet, who was able to win a Queen Elizabeth here 12 months ago. He's in the big one today. Are you happy with him?
Yeah, happy with him, but he's the one that's probably suffered with the way the weather's gone because he is better on top of the ground. And whether, he won the Geelong Cup, but it was definitely better than this, and that'll be the question mark. Whether he can get 2 miles in this sort of ground, that doesn't really suit him.
Preference between the pair?
Well, I always went Vonju Marsh, but I'm starting to turn the other way now. We've had this little bit of rain.
Good luck, Mike.
Thank you.
Well, he's been there and done it, Mike Moroney, and we've got a...
And Muntaha surprisingly out to a good quote, but only 2 minutes to late this race. Good luck all.
It's all set. The Lexus Melbourne Cup for 2018. It's time to cross up to Matt Hill for the call.
Thank you very much, Dave, and good luck to everybody invested here in the Lexus Melbourne Cup for 2018. We're about 90 seconds off starting time, so they'll move up shortly as the barrier stalls. So they're right across the track down there at the famous Melbourne Cup start, about 900 metres from the winning post. So the last look at the board before we get into action. Moving forward for the running of the Melbourne Cup. They're moving in, it's Yucatan on VOPs, currently $6 in from 7. Magic Circle $7, Touch 650, back to 7. And also as we head down the board, Yucatan now into $6. Young Star 16 to 11. Cross count has been pretty solid, $9 to 10. They're moving in for the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Muntahar is about to come along with Jim Crowley. Nikita for young Regan Bayliss has gone into barrier 3. Chestnut Coat joins the line. Sir Charles Road goes forwards. Finch about to come up. Best Solution in the Godolphin Blue. The Cliffs of Moher waits his turn with Rostropovich. Here's Soundcheck about to come along. Soundcheck trained by Mike Maroney, who won this race with Brew in the year of 2000. Who Shot the Barman? He's been placed in this race previously. Who Shot the Barman, now 10 years of age, is about to line up. Ventura Storm. Kingston Rule was the last horse to win the Moonee Valley Gold Cup and then win the Cup. So Charles Road is in. Young Star, the only mare in the race, about to come forward. Who Shot the Barman goes into the stalls, cross counter. Jockey Karen McAvoy, wearing a red distinguishing cap, has won this race twice. Zakada, one of the bolters, a Prince of Arran, who qualified by winning the Lexus Stakes on Saturday, about to come along. Ace High, the Derby winner of last year, will be one of the last. Here is the Cliffs of Moher, with Ryan Moore getting quite sweaty there, the Cliffs of Moher, in these humid conditions. Marmello, the second attempt at the Cup, goes in with Hugh Bowman.